let's just start talking about our final match. We have an 8th match of the day, and it's going to be Noble Esports against Atrocity Exhibition.
Yeah.
All right, so when we saw Noble a little bit earlier, we saw Atrocity a little bit earlier. How are we feeling?
This is a very interesting match. Going into the BPL, I had teams that I was very confident in and I had a solid judgment on. These are two of the teams that wasn't the case for. I'm a little bit unsure how to gauge each of these teams. Of course, Noble Esports recently being picked up, being composed of having Nards on their team, I think is a very interesting thing because he's kind of new to the scene. And he's a very good player, so to see these guys play is going to be very fun. What also hasn't been in the scene for too long. What? Yeah. And then Luke, of course. I'm really excited to see how these guys play and really get a more a good solid judgment on them.
Yeah, so let's just get right into the draft pick. I know there's a couple of people that have their mains that they really want to stick with. I imagine we'll probably see a Freya from Luke.
See Freya, yeah.
But I do want to see him expand potential. We're going to see a Rygon and a Freya. There it is. There's the Freya on Noble.
Okay.
And Atrocity Exhibition, picking up the Rygon choice.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I like both of these lead-ins so far. I expect now to see an Ulrich. Makes sense. It's what we saw earlier out of Noble, so I don't see why we'd see anything different. Actually, we saw Blossom, but that Blossom didn't do too well, so I think we will probably see an Ulrich out of Noble.
Well, the Blossom was also against a Shifu, and you can say, well, hey, oh no, it's going to be an Older.
Interesting.
Older Esmo.
A big resurgence of Older this event. I'm very surprised.
But even just to speak to, I think similar pains against a Rygon or a Shifu if you're a Blossom. I mean, the AoE parry, AoE M2, your tree's just going to get shredded through, whether it be your normal tree or your EX tree. Not amazing. Not a whole lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So I imagine Atrocity Exhibition, you're right, I think we'll probably see that Ulrich. Noble Esports ranged, I mean, they can kind of go with a lot right now that'll fit with this composition.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if they break out the Ulrich too. Maybe they're inspired. Varesh. Okay, this is interesting. I have a couple of concerns about this team comp. Generally, you pick Older with an ally that has a lot of self-sustain or a lot of solid setup. We don't see too much of that on Noble Esports. I'm kind of concerned that when paired together, these characters won't be able to assist each other too much. But on the other side, I really like the Older pick because it will help them with orb control quite a lot.
Yeah.
And Atrocity Exhibition also bringing in the Older.
Now, are we going to see Rygon maybe left alone a little bit? Because once they can force a space bar out of Older, that means Rygon needs to be super careful because he's not going to have a lot of support from a distance. And we've already mentioned that Older's heals aren't as good comparatively.
I think Rygon's a little bit different for the side of Atrocity Exhibition because he has so much self-sustain. If you start landing a couple 3-stack M2s and you get the healing coming in from Retribution, you're going to be okay. And that's why I think the Older is okay with the Rygon, simply because of the amount of sustain Rygon brings to the table.
So if you're playing Rygon and you have a full stack M3, just picture in the flesh saying, you're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay.
It's all right.
Things will be good.
Give it a good smack. But let's see what you guys thought. You guys did some predictions before the day started, and it looks like you barely think Noble Esports is going to take it. Noble to Atrocity. And remember, we keep bringing up these predictions. If you haven't checked out the website, I think the link's been in chat, and I know you can probably find it on that same Twitter, on Battlerite Sports. But you can vote prior to the game, and it helps you if you link your Steam account to actually start earning points towards winning those esports chests for the esports skins, which I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's friggin' awesome. The coolest skins I think that have ever stepped foot in this game, and they released 5 of them at the same time.
Yeah, they're all very
my tiny
cool.
brain couldn't handle it. It really honestly couldn't. I want them all, and it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of good predictions, and I'm going to do it.
You're a smart dude. You'll figure it out.
I don't know if I will. I'm probably going to forget. I always forget to do stuff. I'm just going to be so worried about impressing you guys and making sure you enjoy the show. So, match is going to get underway in any second now. I don't know if I have any hard predictions on this.
I think I'm leaning slightly in the favor of Atrocity Exhibition. You know, I kind of already went on my rant about how you pick Older with a self-sustaining core. Of course, Varesh can help himself a little bit. He has a little bit of self-sustaining, but Rygon having significant more. And I really like the Esmo into Older. You know, of course, Older's going to press that spacebar eventually, and Esmo, he seems to always have ultimate.
Varesh can be an absolute suffocating champion to go against.
Oh, yeah. It is a little bit of a dicey matchup for Fireblaze on the Rygon. If he ever gets caught with a Silence combo and a Shatter combo from Varesh, and he doesn't have his Heavenly Strike, he might just, you know, eat 80 damage. That could just happen.
Older on both sides means that we might be having some slightly quicker matches, again, without having as much sustain. But we do have some self-sustain as well from Rygon. Frey building up the shields. But I'm kind of with you. Right now, the only sustain you have on the side Blue with Nards in the gang is Older.
Yeah. It'll be very interesting to see how it works. Of course, I don't doubt them at all. I'm sure they have a reason they're doing this, and, you know, they're here for a reason.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to learn and see how they execute it. Opening up the match. We're going to see actually a nice landing. Oh, good time bender. Time from Nards. He's going to get pulled, though. The spacebar's down as well. They really want to punish now, but I think they know it might be a bit of a risk with a Varesh and a Freya.
Yeah, look at the damage being pumped out so quickly onto Fireblaze. He has to play so smart, and he is playing pretty smart for the most part here. Not taking too much damage, weaving in and out of the fight, and Red Team able to get that orb. That helps out the Raygon quite a bit.
It really does. He does have Rejuvenate on him. He wants to dive in. He gets an M2 as well. A little bit more sustain. Luke won't get his counter procced, so Freya wasting that a little bit.
Oh my god.
Pouch. And not even a debuff on him.
He used the Heavenly Strike too, which means Nards is going to get that free ultimate. Another very important thing to consider when we talk about the Raygon is that he's pretty much free for the older ultimate. He only has Dragon Palm really, his M2 kinda, and his Heavenly Strike to get away from it, so we will probably see that happen quite a bit. And this is exactly what you don't want to happen if you're a fan of Atrocity Exhibition. You do not ever want to see Fireblaze on that Raygon lined up against the Freya. Freya is so incredibly good versus melee, as we talked about earlier in the day. Her Thunderclap goes right through that parry, and she doesn't care. She can just keep going onto Raygon, so he desperately needs to find a way to disengage with her when she goes on him. Either that or his allies, be it Flappy Penguin or Freak on the older, need to help him out a little bit.
Now this almost feels like an homage to our old battleship or castle composition. You're going to older and Varesh just sticking right next to each other, constantly protecting each other, constantly just trying to get debuffs and heal each other up. And you noticed how difficult it was for Raygon to try and push in on that duo.
You see down bottom, Fireblaze is just having no luck against this Freya. I'm amazed he still has max HP because things haven't gone too well for him. He now finds himself far in the backline, but he does have his Heavenly Strike. He uses it to go in. Very aggressive play here. Noble Esports gets the orb. That's exactly what Fireblaze didn't want to happen.
Freya found so much value in her counter. She's going to jump over the M2. There's the ultimate on the older. She's going to get petrified.
Oh god, this is huge. This ultimate coming out here from the Varesh, getting all 4 hits, absolutely destroying this older. He finally has the space up again, but now Freya's just chasing him down. He's going to use the ultimate and finds the Freya, but the return is there from Nards. Nards also has his ultimate available.
And Luke using it in safety as opposed to aggression. I do support that. I think he was in a really tight spot, running out of cooldowns. The ultimate saved him from that last couple of touches. Oh, the spacebar from Older. That's going to be it for him. He had to use the spacebar just to get out of his shatter. Another ultimate from Varesh. Just slowly whittling them down.
Yeah, that ultimate not going to get any value, and things are looking so good for Noble. Noble playing so aggressively. Luke is just absolutely manhandling this Fireblaze. I really feel like they need to make some adjustment on how they're lining up when they're going in. We're seeing Fireblaze constantly lining up, going head-to-head with the Freya, and they simply can't have that matchup.
Raygon, one of the few melee champions out there that have no way to poke.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, it's his E, and then he usually uses that to go in. So I don't know if I'd call that a poke.
Yeah.
A long-distance initiation, I'd suggest it. So you can see the discomfort in Fireblitz when he has to stand around. That's why he wants to go in. He has to find value. If he's just going to take free damage, he needs to do something.
He is able to not line up against the Freya and doesn't hit the counter this time, and you immediately see how big a difference it makes.
Good
and now
night.
this punish, the punish onto the Freya is absolutely massive, but it's not game losing just yet. Red team is able to get back towards mid, and the orb is up in 5. This is when they need to take this orb.
Counter value from Freya. Red team secured it. That's going to go to Atrocity Exhibition. They're looking much better, and there it is. Oldor getting punished.
Yeah, a huge adjustment coming out from Atrocity Exhibition. We talked about it a little bit, and they might find the kill here on the Freya as I'm rambling about something else. Fireblaze jumps over the Freya and finds the kill onto the onto Wa. Luke gonna drop that double ulti.
Double ulti for the double iframe.
But yeah, the lineup. It's something that you don't often think about because it seems so minimal. But simply the character you start up against when you walk into the arena is massive. And we see it there. When Raygon Fireblaze isn't lined up directly against Luke and he's able to kind of sneak by him and get to the backline, he has such a better time. And if you can simply just get yourself a more desirable matchup to start off the round, oftentimes it can just change the entire pace of the round.
But after seeing themselves fall prey to Fireblaze getting through that backline, Luke may position himself a bit differently here. He wants to get aggressive, though. He does see the Esmo. Parry's down.
Oof.
Early incapacitate, but the silence before he gets any damage. Counter gets value, but he backs out before he can get any shield value out of it.
Yeah, the Inhibitor's Guard from Varesh was also used on Freya, so they're lacking shields a little bit here. The Petrify coming out onto the Raygon. Good damage, and the Hand of Judgment going to make it very dicey for Fireblaze here.
Older was able to M1 that orb into their hands. Crunch time, here it comes. No stun. Wasn't able to find Luke, but it does know that he was able to at least bait some mentality, some cooldowns out of his allies.
Oh, the Heavenly Strike going to be used to dodge that stone glass. Really nicely done from Fireblaze, and he's playing very well this round. With this orb spawning, if red team is able to get it, they might just snowball the rest of this round. The orb is dropped, or the ultimate is dropped, but it doesn't get the orb. It does, however, land on Luke. The ultimate from the Varesh is the response, and it gets a decent amount of damage, but down bottom, the Freya is getting so low, I'm not sure if the trade was worth it.
Oh, Wu knew he had to play aggressive there. That was the chance.
It's so scary. Carpet, that Hand of Judgment. It's just like Xander's Arcane Catalyst. So much damage coming out so quickly.
Red team secures it. That's going to be massive for them.
They get him.
They finally knocked him down. Freya struggling right now to even just find a way to get in there, but she will get her counter hit. The parry's going to be there to stop for more damage. Older goes down, and Luke will follow suit. Tying it up, 2 rounds to 2 rounds. Atrocity Exhibition finding a way through into the back line of this Noble Esports.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a Melee player, how do you feel about the way Fireblaze is navigating this backline?
I mean, it's precise.
Yeah.
And everything has a lot of intentionality, which is, we talked about it a little earlier as a Melee. I mean, I've never been a Melee pro by any means, but I am a Melee main, so I do have a little bit to speak on what it feels like. It's very easy to get caught up in a 1v1.
Yes.
It's very easy. You're winning a 1v1, you know you can punish.
Yeah.
And it is your job to punish. So it gets really easy to caught up, and Fireblaze is changing targets so well. He's trying to avoid that fray as much as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Make the older move around, force one. And honestly, Varesh is one of the worst things to go into as a Melee as well. It doesn't feel good, and he's still holding his own.
I couldn't agree anymore, and we see it this time. He's able to disengage, weave in and out of fights very well. Doesn't take too much damage, even in an unfavorable situation, but Noble gets that orb. Very big for them as the Chrono Flux helps secure it.
He's getting support from Freak. Fireblaze goes in. He doesn't have any M2 on him yet. The incapacity onto Varesh is going to be massive. Varesh has an ultimate once he wakes up.
I think Fireblaze just used his reflect, his parry to dodge the stone glass. Oh, the Varesh ultimate, the second hit is going to miss. So unfortunate. He might have been able to find a kill on Fireblaze had it hit. They might still be able to get a kill here, but it's looking unlikely as he just barely gets away. The Heavenly Strike is finally there to get him out.
And he also got a little bit of the heals. And they will secure the orb as well, which leaves Freya there all alone. Whoa. Actually, if Wa can take out Ez, oh, this would be massive.
Yeah, well, he's getting so low. It's looking very hard now. The Time Bomb was there to finish him off, but the Heavenly Strike going to steal the kill. Now getting knocked up in the air is the Freya, and they've won 3 rounds in a row, Carpet. Atrocity Exhibition as quickly as they went down 2, take 3 back.
Now we talk about one team trying to figure out the other.
Yep.
What does Noble have to do to answer right now? Where are they struggling?
I think Noble is having a very hard time dealing and punishing Fireblaze's Raygon as easily as they did in the earlier rounds. Fireblaze in round 1 and 2 played a little bit sloppy and got punished very hardly by Luke. And now Luke, he's not having as much success going on to him. I think a lot of this depends on Luke and Wa's ability to land value ultimates. We also saw early Wa, he took that ultimate Battlerite, that extra jump, so he needs to be popping off these ultimates and having a large impact with them, or else his Battlerites simply aren't efficient.
Luke already using 2 of his iframes and his counter. He's got literally nothing left. This is a very dangerous place for him to find himself. But he does back up. He finds his team. Again, for some reason, this is very reminiscent to me of that castle, that old castle composition we used to see.
We talked about what Noble needed to do, and I think this is part of it. They're doing a much better job handling Fireblaze, and he's not having nearly as much success getting in and out of the fight. Now he's forced to play a little bit defensively. Luke does eat a little bit of damage from that pole, but he is still okay.
They do secure the green shards up top, so Fireblaze, while it did look like he lost quite a lot of health, a lot of it is back. Freya's going to find some serious damage there. The parry getting hit by multiple teammates. Ultimate from Eldor. He might use it to keep himself alive. He wants to save it for his teammates. He's holding it. No, he uses it on himself. Can he get any lineup? He finds no stuns.
Oh,
the
no.
ultimate for the Esmo is going to find so much. No.
Oh, he just barely has the ultimate up again. The Varesh whiffs his ultimate. That might be costly. Was starting to take a lot of damage here, too. And Fireblaze is still sitting pretty. This is a pretty significant advantage to the side of Atrocity Exhibition as Fireblaze picks up another round of green shards.
Noble doing well, but you can see when the pressure turns up, a couple of more mistakes can really cause it. Look at that. The iframe missed time by Luke still gets pulled, and now he has to use so much just to escape. Varesh caught in the damage of Older and Esmo poking from such a distance, and red team easily secure that orb.
A big orb and a big HP advantage for Atrocity Exhibition here. 40% up, and they're playing very aggressively. They knock Luke into the middle of everything. The Inhibitor's Guard is used on him, which opens up Varesh a little bit, and now Fireblaze rotating back the Esmo. Oh, a beautiful pull!
There it is!
You're so sick, Flappy Penguin! A sick pull onto Luke gets him so incredibly low, and now was doing no better. Luke finally going to go down. Flappy finishing off that one.
I am a little torn on talking about epic plays and calling somebody sick when their name's Flappy Penguin, but I'm still invested. Look at that Atrocity Exhibition, 4 rounds in a row. have Noble Esports' number.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for Atrocity Exhibition, and the adjustment was absolutely massive. I hate to keep singing his praises, but Fireblade is doing a great job. Flappy Penguin also finishing off that kill on Luke, getting him incredibly low and then killing him with the EXM1. Really nice job overall.
We see how impactful Melee has slowly become in the Battlerite meta.
Yes.
This single Melee player does so much to move the field around. It's like chess. He's forcing so much movement so that he's got people in the back that are just waiting, right? They're like that volley of arrows once you see the defense is down. And now you'll see early on, Luke wanted to go in and try and just stop Fireblaze. Just want to make him use one cooldown outside of his rotation so that he can't do exactly what he's doing right now.
Oh, man. Not looking good here for Luke. Maybe a little bit tilted, maybe a little bit frustrated, but the damage is being pumped into him. And we see the older into Freya thing here. They don't have too much healing for Luke. They simply can't keep him up.
So much center control from Atrocity. They got the center orbs and all the shards.
Ooh, this is not looking good here. The counter is not going to be procced, which means there's no shields available for Luke. He uses his R and his Thunderclap as well, so he's expended all of his resources, and now Red Team is just going to back up and take the orb. The ultimate is going to be dropped from Nards, trying to find something to aggress in, but that opens up the pole. He shielded and spaced, and now Nards is going to die.
And that's going to be it. Atrocity Exhibition. Seriously, just having so much control. They took those 2 losses with pride almost.
Yes.
And they took 5 rounds in a row against Noble Esports. Is this what you would have expected to see?
You know, I honestly, going into this, I didn't quite know what to expect, but Atrocity Exhibition have definitely impressed me a little bit. This team has been a big question mark in my mind, and they looked very good.
All the teams here in both groups, I think, have a lot to prove. We saw a couple of hard sweeps, but I still don't think that means to write anybody off. As we can tell, everyone's experimenting with new things. Every team composition just a little bit different. Not a lot of the same comps that we generally see in competitive Battlerite play.
Right.
Which one speaks a lot to the game, means that the game is obviously in a really good spot. The meta's in a healthy spot, but it speaks to the players because metas are often on players' skill sets and what they can do. So everyone's getting so good that they're able to pull so many things, and it has been an absolute treat for myself. I've been a little disconnected since the last tournament ended. I haven't been able to keep up with it as much, so it has been super cool for me.
Yeah, it's a pretty big shift between this meta and the meta of maybe 2 months ago, and it's been so much fun to watch. Of course, having a patch hit right before the BPL it just really set us up for some good games, and to watch these games, to watch Youngsung bring out double support and just dominate was so exciting. We really got treated today.
And big patches hitting, honestly, right before we see a big tournament like this starts to actually showcase the players that can think a little bit, I don't say think a little bit more.
The theory crafters.
But yeah, the theory crafters. Yeah. You can see the true, I guess, filthy try-hard nerds. No offense. I'm kidding. I'm one of those too, so don't worry. But you can really see that showcase in the players that will adapt immediately and know which team compositions will excel and know how to go through the ones that everybody thinks are strong. But just talking about the combinations that we're able to see, we saw an Esmo pull Freya into the ultimate. We love watching them happen, but it was after a long chain of events.
Yes. A lot happened to get us here, but what finally closed out the round was this sick ultimate being dropped by Flappy Penguin. He cancels his M2 because he recognizes he won't get anything, and then he gets a beautiful pull taking down the Freya. Gets him so low that no matter if the counter's procced, he still just can't recover.
And she had just pulled the counter right before that. She ends up going down, I think, a time bomb. Maybe the M1 made contact there as well. But you noticed what happened. They did all that damage to Freya. She had almost nothing left, which means she's in a panic. Whoever's on that character is in a full-fledged panic, and they just ignore her.
Yep.
They just all turned and like, she might still have counter up. We didn't really track it that well.
Yep.
Just in case. Screw it.
Yeah.
Or she might have an iframe up. So they knew they dealt so much damage. They did the impact they needed. And that is definitely the key of an organized team. That is the showing of a great organized team of, hey, we know we did our job. Our job was to just put Freya in a spot where she can't engage anymore. Yeah. Now we'll just go on her teammates. And she was able to get out, but not for much longer.
Yeah, at that point it didn't matter. She was so low, like you mentioned, that her relevance in the game was reduced to 0 simply because of her HP pool. A really beautiful play from the red team to put themselves in that situation.
So remember, as I kind of explained, every time you win one of these series, you will earn 3 points for your team in each group. So we have a Group A and a Group B in North America here. And now we get to see how some points have been distributed. Everyone playing quite a lot of matches today. We're going to see Youngsung at the top of Group A. What a way to kick off the day, them against Space Station Gaming. And down in Group B, Fable Esports at the top with 2 wins, and Empath and Atrocity Exhibition now looking to, I mean, it's not really closing a gap. There's not been a lot of games, but they are still close behind, and Noble Esports struggling right now.
I'm very excited to see how Empath versus Atrocity Exhibition will develop moving in later into this event. I think both of these two teams have a lot of room for growth and very skilled players. I think these two teams are going to be contenders, but I really want to see them develop a little bit more. And of course, Space Station Gaming going down 1 game early on. Youngsung sitting at the top of Group A is so cool to see.